Hello and welcome to the Fit Fatherhood podcast. My name is Zach Bush. I am your host. You might notice that we are missing my co-host tonight. Nathaniel is out practicing what we preach. He is out with his family, spending some time. It was his son's birthday over the weekend. They had all gotten sick, so they weren't able to celebrate it when they were planning on it. Kind of one of those curveballs that life just naturally throws at you. But either way, they are out celebrating. So you guys are stuck with just me tonight. Um, and on this podcast, we talk about all different ways to help busy dads, just like we are, juggle family, health, fitness, career, and all that stuff. Different tips, tricks, different things that we're working on, different things that we've learned from each other and from other people. So thank you for being here. I will do my best to give you some good information over the next 15 or so minutes. As usual, we will follow up with the Zoom call. If you're in the Fit Fatherhood Facebook group that we run, you should have the link. If you're not, go and join. And if you are and want to join us, go over and grab that. I just tagged everybody before we hopped on about a half hour ago. So today, what are we going to talk about? We are in our last week of our 5-week challenge. So quick recap on what all of those weeks were. So week 1 was the time and food audit. So the whole purpose of that is to see what are we spending our time on? What time of the day are we doing things? What are we doing? Looking at every, maybe half hour increment saying, hey, what did I do for the last half hour? And what the goal of that was to figure out, again, what we're spending our time on. And then not only what we're spending our time on, how much time are we doing it? And how much value does it bring us? Does it bring us joy? Do we realize that maybe we are wasting time on things that we don't need to do, like scrolling Instagram? It happens. I do it too, but just kind of being more conscious of that. And it also kind of sets the foundation for, all right, we're going to set aside for some exercise time, family time, which we'll talk about later. That's what the goal of this week is. So where can I fit those things in, or what 2 things can I start combining to make time elsewhere? So the time audit's super important, just to kind of get an idea of what you are spending your time on, just make you more mindful. And then the food audit, similar, taking every time you eat something or drink something, jot it down. Roughly how much, or at least a high level, what is it? Again, just trying to be more mindful of what we're eating and how much and how often, and what time of the day are we eating certain things. I know one of the things that I come across is that like time between when I eat lunch and then like I have an afternoon meal as well at like 3 or 4 o'clock. The time between there, work's kind of dragging maybe a little bit sometimes. And, I want to go get a snack. So, and that's pretty consistent. And I kind of saw that as we went through the food audit. So it gives you an idea again of what you're eating, but also like what time are you eating certain things? And is there an emotional attachment that you might have with that? So super important to do both of those things. It's kind of the foundation, like I said. Then week 2, we went into exercise. Okay, let's add in some exercise, right? That doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be lifting or running even necessarily. 20 minutes was worth a point in our challenge in the school community. And then 45 minutes was the full 2 points. Again, that can be a 45-minute walk. It's just how can we improve what we're doing currently? How can we add in more exercise? Then we started talking about water, increasing the water intake throughout the day, getting at least 60 ounces to get the full credit for the challenge. It was 100 ounces or more, which is ideal, especially if we added in an exercise already. We're going to need that extra water. So tracking that water and seeing how much drinking, again, just a mindful exercise. And most people aren't drinking enough or drinking not water, but other soda, sugary drinks. Coffee would have been okay. Protein shakes, we let that slide as well, but essentially just trying to focus on just consuming more water. And you don't even necessarily need to stop consuming those other things, just increase the water. The goal is that if you drink more water, chances are you won't be thirsty enough to drink those sugary drinks. And then the one we did last week was veggies. So how can we add veggies to our meals? Ideally, we were adding it to 2. That's how you got full credit in our challenge. But if you aren't currently eating any veggies, adding it to 1 meal would be a perfect first step. So how can you do that? What different ways can you do that? Some of the things we saw were, people were making on the sides, whether it's in the air fryer or oven baked or steamed or anything like that. And some people hit it in there, right? Chop it up, make it into a casserole, and then you don't even realize you're eating the veggies. It's just kind of part of that meal as well. So those are the first 4 weeks. It's been great. I've seen a lot of different ways people do different things and attack different things. Some people combining things with each other, right? As you exercise more, you're going to drink more. But this week, our final week of the challenge is adding in that family time. This podcast, our Facebook community, the school community, it's all focused on dads and how can we be the best dad that we can be while also juggling all of our other responsibilities, work, again, family time, career, and then health, right? How can we improve ourselves, whether it's health and mindset and all that stuff, while also kind of taking care of everybody else? It's a lot to balance. And there's certainly days where I don't know if I can do it. I struggle with it for sure. So it's good to have this community here to support you through it. And again, I don't know everything, but I will help you as I learn stuff and as I figure things out as I go, something new. I will come on here and do my best to relay to everybody. And, I've learned a ton from everybody else in the group so far. So this week, family time. Again, 30 minutes is what we're looking for. Before we did a scaled kind of like, all right, one meal of veggies is worth 1.2 is worth 2. But the family time is just one and done, right? So 30 minutes at a minimum of undistracted, no phone, no, TV in the background, just you and the family hanging out and doing something. For me personally, it's dinner. We sit down, we either make it or we meal prep, so we'll heat it up together and sit down and have it. And I have a almost 2-year-old, so it's a little chaotic sometimes. Food everywhere. He gets messy, stuff gets messy, but either way, he's been eating really well recently, which we've been super thankful for. So it's been fun to sit down. We actually are able to sit down for at least half an hour and kind of sit there and we'll talk and he'll kind of just babble away. So that's been fun. And then, after that we go and, he goes and plays and we play with him for a little bit before it's bedtime and bath time and all that stuff. But it's been really good to focus on that. And the most important thing to focus on is the no phone, the no distractions. It's easy kind of without even realizing it, like a message pops up or you get the vibration and you immediately want to look at it. And the next thing you know, you're scrolling through a bunch of Instagram stuff. So again, just trying to make that distraction free 30 minutes. And combining those, right? We did the exercise. We did the 30 or 45 minutes of exercise. It's a little cold where I am, but maybe it's warm out. You can combine that 45 minutes of exercise with 45 minutes of family time. And we'll touch on that a little bit. The main reason we wanted to include this family time, like, hey, we're dads, but also, sometimes it's health and fitness. Like you might be the only one that wants to do it, but it doesn't have to be a solo journey in this. And it's more fun if you involve people, especially when they're your family and they're the closest to you. And another thing too, is that as you are doing these things and trying these things and eating veggies and working out, everybody is looking at you. Your kids are looking at you, your parents or your spouse is looking at you. As parents, you're setting that example for your kids. So that's really helpful as they grow up. It might not seem like a big deal right now, but it's definitely something that has a lasting impact on them. And for me personally, I grew up, my parents were always active. My mom taught spin classes and step classes and all that. And I watched her doing that. And, they had a little baby, I think it was at the Y. So we had a little babysitter area and she would drop us off and then she'd pick us up. But, I'd be able to see her do that and teach it. And so, for me, it was normalized. And that's something that stuck with me. And it's great if you can normalize it, going to the gym. It's not something that's scary or intimidating. If it's just seen as normal and fun, and people are going to be most likely to kind of continue doing it, especially kids growing up. And my wife and I work out together sometimes, and we'll bring our son, and he'll be able to watch us work out. Not us in general, not just me taking him or my wife taking him, but both of us together, and seeing that that's normalized as well. So that's been super fun for us, and we're super fortunate that we have a gym that can do that and let us have that freedom to do that. Not all gyms are like that. So, kind of talking about incorporating fitness into your life. How can you do that? What are some strategies, some ways that you can do it? I think most important talking about bringing the kids in and setting an example is, like my son, he can't do a lot of, he can't lift weights and all stuff because he's 2, but he loves getting swung around and picked up and tossed around. So like, how can I do that? Can I hold him and do some squats or do some, toss him up in the air a little bit, like incorporating him in that. It's gonna be fun for him. It's gonna be tiring for you. I know, I get super tired kind of throwing him around and swinging him around, and he just laughs away. So how can we combine those couple of things? Or maybe they're a little bit older. You can race them in the yard, or you can practice sports with them. It doesn't have to be this official exercise. Like I got to go for a 2-mile run, or go squat or anything like that. So just making sure that you are, incorporating that fitness with them and combining them with it. Like when it's warm out, I take, my wife and I take our son and our dog for a walk, and he's walking around now. So the walks take a little bit longer than they used to, and we get to push him in his car. But it's, he loves walking around and picking up the leaves and doing all that stuff that kids like to do. And the dog likes to, take the stick from him and all that. So, if it's fun, you're going to be more likely to do it. So how can you gamify it? How can you make it fun, not only for you, but your spouse, your kid, and all that stuff. Um, and then, so we're talking about fitness, family time, nutrition too. We had a call with a client who's in our school community this past weekend, and we're talking about meal prep, and it's like, I'm busy with work, and like I want to spend more time with the kids, but I also want to do this for myself. Like, how can I, like, what can I do? Like, I want to be able to do both of them, and so we're kind of just talking through all that, and like, hey, like, why don't you meal prep with your kids? They're old enough to do it. Like, even if they're not super helpful, they can see you do it more, and they can be a part of that process. And even if it's not a full meal prep, maybe it's a quick dinner or something like that. And so he's going to start incorporating that, and I think that's gonna be fun for him. I know growing up, my parents incorporated that with me, kind of cooking a bunch, and it was great. I mean, they would let me make dinners, simple dinners, turkey tacos, and eggs and things like that. But I think that's where my joy, my passion for cooking came in. And by no means am I a professional at it, but I enjoy doing it, which is a big first step, because I know some people don't like doing it or intimidated by it. Again, like the gym, just kind of normalizing that stuff as much as possible, but incorporating it. And even my son, like, he likes to stand on his little stool and kind of be a part of it, but he just likes to stack the spice racks that we have, then knock them over. So he's not actually helping, but seeing it and being part of it, it distracts him. He loves doing it. So it helps us kind of do that as well. And so how can you incorporate that? If their kids are a little bit older, like, teach them how to portion out their plate. We have a bunch of different things, a bunch of different talks on, the best way to portion your plate, but kind of let them pick and choose and um, get that stuff together, and how to prep their meals, and put their plates together, and try different things. And our son tried green beans the last night for the first time, just because he saw us eating it. So again, leading by example, I think, is super important and will create a big impact. So that's something that I highly recommend for sure. And then if they actually are helpful in cooking, our son, again, makes a mess more than he does actually help. But if they can help, like teaching them how to mix things together and all that stuff, just the simple things. Kids like getting messy. So, something like meatballs or meatloaves or something like that, like, let them get their hands in there and just kind of mash all that stuff up. It'll be, again, fun for them, which is fun for you. At the end of the day, just kind of leading by example and showing them that this is normal, this is fun, and it's only going to help them long term, which ultimately, at least for me, is what I shoot for, is how can I give them the most confidence and the best foundation moving forward, for them to navigate through things. So, kind of wrapping this up, think about how you can incorporate that family time, right? If you've gone through the challenge with us, if you have not, start at week one and go through the time audit. That will really help you figure out, where can I fit this half hour in of family time? And then what can I do in that family time? Kind of, at least block it off like a meeting. And, it sounds kind of bad sometimes, but that needs to happen. Life gets in the way. So pick a time that you can get together with the family, pick something you can do. Again, if you combine fitness or some kind of nutrition with them, then perfect. Like, that's the ideal way to do it. So take time, figure out how you can incorporate that. If you need any help with all of that, if you're a dad or a dad that could benefit from that, join our Facebook community, Fit Fatherhood. We have a school community as well, but that's, we don't push that too much. We just want you to join the Facebook community, get the information that we have in there, get the community out of there. And then if you want more, reach out to us. If you have questions, Nathaniel and I are happy to jump on a call, message, whatever is easiest for you. We just want to help as many dads as possible. It's something that we've worked through ourselves, and we see the benefit, even just working with him, how different we are, but how the same things matter to us. So we just want to help as many dads do that as possible. So again, join the Fit Fatherhood Facebook group. We're going to be jumping over to the Zoom in about a minute or so. If you can get that in the Facebook group. So if you are not part of it, go jump into that right now. If you are, the link's in there. So I will see you all over there. Thanks again for spending your Tuesday night with me, or just for watching if you're looking at it in the future. Have a good night, everyone.